This one's gonna be a short video. Mainly because the Joker in question, who I will go on to question as a Joker, didn't get a whole lot of screen time. Not that anyone's complaining. I spoke recently about who I felt was the worst Joker ever animated, and in that video I mentioned that there was one who was just as bad. But I want to take that back, because that was actually a factually inaccurate statement. Because this one is the by far worst, the absolute bottom of the clown barrel. Far worse than the Joker from Young Justice is the Joker from Injustice. And I'm not talking about the video games either. That's a completely different actor for a completely different video. I'm talking about this piss-poor iteration of the Joker in this piss-poor adaptation of Injustice, who is every bit as bad as the movie that he's in.
Well. Imagine meeting you here, Lewis. I'm pulling the best joke ever. It'll be my masterpiece. Time to go, honey. Good guys are coming and they tend to get punchy.
He made an impression, but it wasn't one that you'd want to make. Even though there's only a little time spent with this villain, it's not exactly time well spent. The character just fails on every level imaginable. If you're comparing him to his in-game counterpart, he falls short.
Oh no! This time, the joke's on you, and the world will burn.
That's why I like you, Superman. You're much more gullible than...
And if you try to compare him to whatever standards you already have for the character, once again he falls short of the mark.
And it was as easy as beating a puppy to death with a kitten!
That actually is pretty funny.
So, apologies to Brent Spiner, because while Brent didn't give a good Joker performance in my opinion, he still gave a Joker performance. But Kevin Pollak couldn't even be bothered. Though the two are very different, I have the same exact problem with this performance as I do with Brent Spiner's. The story portrays it as a more modern take on the character, a chaotic clown who only lives to make other people's pain his own punchline. However, the actual performance depicts him as being a goofy dope who just makes bad jokes. Sure, you could say that Mark Hamill managed to meet somewhere in the middle and create a much more nuanced take that combined these two elements, but Mark Hamill this is not. The look is current, but the actual performance is taken straight out of the Silver Age. And when combined, it just doesn't work. Actually, come to think of it, it doesn't work separately here either, because if I'm just judging this based on the look, well then it's bad. But if I'm basing this on the performance, well then it's really bad. The voice does seem like a much better fit for the earlier renditions of the Criminal Clown, but still, even taken out of this and put in that environment, I still think it's the bottom of the barrel. Upon re-watching Injustice, I would have to argue that this Joker is far worse than that Joker. And you know what? I think he might even be worse than this Joker. Maybe. Maybe. Whereas Brent Spiner's Joker was a good actor with a bad Joker performance, Kevin Pollak's is a good actor with a bad overall performance. Brent was out of his element, but in the right setting he would be acceptable in the role. This Joker would fail in any setting. It's a mistaken makeup. I don't know that there's a backdrop you could drop this Joker in to make his performance feel right at home or, well, honestly even tolerable. It's pretty bad. What I can't seem to understand is that if they were adapting the video game's lore, why not just include the same actor from the games? Richard Epcar is a solid Joker. I know he's not everybody's favorite and some people have opinions of him that aren't always all that great, but in my perspective, I think he's fine.
Well, then you are lost!
Richard Epcar is a solid Joker. I know he's not a whole lot of people's favorites, but he's a lot more beloved than this guy is. I understand that the main cast from the game wasn't brought to home video. Not entirely sure why, but I understand that. But they probably should have made an exception here. The tools were right there for them to use. They just chose to instead use sticks and dirt. Well, at the very least, you could say that this is a performance that matches the movie it's a part of. Though it's confusing because Kevin is actually a very talented individual. He's an incredible impressionist who can pull off a variety of voices, sometimes doing impersonations so well that if you closed your eyes, you'd believe you were talking to the real thing.
Frankenstein never scared me. Marsupials do, because they're fast.
Oh, don't be frightened. Down, Mr. Happy. Oh, don't be frightened. Down, Mr. Happy.
Excuse me, miss. Well, fact of the matter is, some of the fellas have asked me to inquire as to how long you think this might actually take.
Stardate 2, 4, 6.5. And the behavior of my crew, although the faces seem the same.
So to see him fail in such a major way is both shocking and unsatisfying. I don't know, I guess maybe this one wasn't in his arsenal, which is totally valid. Not everyone can do everything. Not every part is for every actor. This was just a bad combination in terms of actor and adaptation. A very unholy union that did much more bad than it did good. It's just bad all around any way you look at it. Although speaking of look, what is this? What in the Diet Heath Ledger am I looking at here? They really didn't have to do anything different than they did in the game. The game's Joker was perfectly fine in both design and depiction. Somehow this movie wronged him in both. It looks like they attempted to recreate the look of the games, but then they also tried to mix and match it with some of his more iconic and somewhat generic looks. And in doing so, they did a massive disservice to all of them. So once again, apologies to Brent Spiner. I must admit, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. Brent and Kevin do not share a spot for the worst Joker. Kevin is number one, always and forever. -1.
Only the very best for you, Harley.
There's just nothing special or unique about this version of the character. Ultimately, the movie makes him an afterthought in what they were trying to achieve. Kev, big fan, but this villain thing, it's not for you, pal. Go back to clown school. With all that being said, if you like this video and would like to see a video on the other Injustice's Joker, let me know in the comment section below by leaving a comment saying,
Now that's funny.
I am vengeance. I am the night, and that was V Infuso. Just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.
So, if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too would like to become a V-generate, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, nerds!
And if you're not joining the fun, you're in for one bad day. And you know what they say about having one bad day?
Catch him next time. Same bat time. Same bat channel.